5:55 in the morning on October 20th, 2023. And this is the beginning of an adventure. I hope that you are able to watch the entire video. Right now, it's quite dark where I'm at in San Antonio, Texas. I've already driven 1.7 miles in really 7 minutes. And that basically was because of the traffic lights that gave me a reason to pause this morning. So I'm going to try to do something unique in this series, which is to compile from start to finish this entire journey, captured in segments that make sense. Like if a minute makes sense to start out with, that's basically what I'll do. When I was plant-based, I definitely didn't have to stop as frequently. And even the aspect of waking up so frequently has a lot to do with many of the things that I consume. What I really enjoy about taking the I-10 route is versus the US 90 from my neck of the woods. I can take two different routes to get to this place that I'm going to, and the US 90 route is about, I believe, 100 miles shorter. However, with all the towns that you pass through and all the traffic as the day is beginning, it's a more challenging route, because even though it seems like you would get there sooner because it's 100 miles shorter, you actually get there within minutes of taking the other route under its ideal conditions. Now, the other route is the I-10 route. That's the route that I'm taking from San Antonio. I had to cross town and then catch I-10 headed west. And I-10 west is typically a no stops, no speed limit type of route. Actually, there is a speed limit usually. Right now it's 65 miles per hour. It's what I'm traveling at. I'm about to be overtaking a tanker truck of some sort. We're back to 2 lanes. And the overall feel from leaving the big city and heading into a place like where I'm going to is much more, what's a good word for it? The anticipation is easier driving on the I-10 route because its pace is really pleasant. the views are amazing. Like, you can see the sunrise going on behind us. And you also have a bunch of different vantage points to see the entire horizon, as far as you can see, left, right, back, front. And one of the things that I've noticed has changed over time as I've taken this route, aside from all of the construction, all the hard work that's going on to provide these smooth roads in some sections, all of the hard work that's going on to help us to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, some of that hard work is causing some heartfelt delays. And it's because of the disjointedness of some of the projects, some of the ways that things are done. Like, we may not recognize that signs, temporary signs placed directly opposing the sunrise, we might not recognize that they're going to create brilliant flashes of light into the oncoming driver's eyes. And that, it's not necessarily a huge deal unless you have wildlife running across the road at the same time. Those are things that really do happen, and really have happened over the course of my trips back and forth between here and Big Bend, no matter which route I've taken. And in every case, the main difference between traveling on US 90 and I-10 is that I-10 can be sometimes a little bit dangerous if you're not mentally tuned in to what's going on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the two routes, why I take the I-10 route. I'm up on I would call it a plateau, and I can see the horizon around us right now. I can see the haziness and how high up the haze goes. And I can remember not that very long ago when this wasn't a constant scenario as it is right now. I can remember when you would have more hawks hanging out on the power lines. I can remember when you would have different roadkill all over the road because seasonally, normally, people couldn't avoid it because they were being blinded by signs reflecting light back into their eyes, or the bright lights of the oncoming traffic. Maybe we didn't see certain things in time, and so we had an accident. And I'm just saying that in general. There are so many things that we've collided with. You've seen out of my front windshield. You've seen the bugs that basically are on my windshield from last year. You've seen certain things that you may never see again, because this is what we're facing right now in terms of the journey back and forth between here and Big Bend, and even what I see in Big Bend. I'm hesitant to say, but I feel as if wildlife is in such a significant decline that some of us are probably noticing now, especially if we've been alive for long enough to know the difference, that there is a marked decrease in all of the life around us. However, I can count styrofoam containers, a bunch of different rubber from tires. I can count plastic, aluminum, cloth, plastic. I can count all these different things a lot more easily right now than the wildlife that I typically used to see. So why am I talking about it with this much, some people might call it doom and gloom, with this much truth? Why am I talking about it with this much truth? It's because I think this is a compelling subject. I believe that this is not just compelling, it's absolutely imperative that we wake up and discuss these things, especially with our peers who would be able to speak with us in public about some of these events. For whatever reason, the way that we tend to pace these things out is inefficient, by my humble opinion. I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into any of the process that's going on. I simply would like for us to take a pause and look around us to truly see what it is that we are experiencing right now together. So that's what this journey is about. I hope that you're still going to stay tuned in. This is only day one of the journey. There's a lot of road time involved just to get from point A to point B. Right now, we've been driving for 2 hours and 43 minutes. We've gone 191 miles, and that's basically part of the picture when it comes to getting from a place like where I live to this place that I'm trying to tell you, which is a place of beauty that my father showed to me. My father's company that he worked at actually was who orchestrated group trips. I'm passing another styrofoam cooler, big one. And because of this opportunity, I was able to see something in real life, wildlife. I saw a bear the very first time that we went up into the basin. It was crossing at the Lost Mine trailhead. And that was something that I only had seen on television up until that point in time. At that point in time, I was in love with Big Bend, and I have been for this whole time. And so I try to share the journey as pleasantly as I can. And at this point in time, we just passed what looked like it could have been a jackrabbit. I thought this was something else, but it was some kind of a wood log. And now it's just back to tire pieces. So many tire pieces. We have to be able to use this for something. It's a resource. How can we use this without having to kick up more dust and keep doing it the old way? Why have we not paused for long enough to figure out how to recalibrate what it is that we're doing? Anyway, stay tuned. Everybody, it's 11:11 and I'm almost all the way to where I'm going. I wanted to show you something that is increasingly common. You don't see anything around here, but see that vulture? There's basically not a whole lot of food for these animals to eat. I do see occasional roadkill, and in fact, I think I'm walking towards something right now. It's a roadkill. Here's one of the feathers. Look. It's possible that this bird was over here feeding on this animal. Again, there aren't very many roadkill. This one happens to be right next to a well-situated pull-off, so I was able to stop and show you what I encountered just now. Again, it's an increasingly common scene for whatever reason. I think it has to do with the decrease in the amount of things that these animals have to eat at this time. Headed down south, US 385. Got the cruise control on in my four-wheel drive. The radio is off, but my mind is full of song. One final stop to go, but I won't stop for very long. I used to have a Firebird, it got me very far. When I sold her, I got back more than I paid for that car. We rode topless all the time and the suspension was legit. But this got to certain places we both knew we had to quit. So now I've got my 4x4, it also gets... So my first stop and my last stop for right now is to pick up a couple of bags of ice. So it's now coming up on 1 o'clock. Remember, I woke up at 3 a.m. So I guess officially this journey will have been ongoing for 12 hours in 2 hours. For right now, after having stocked up on some ice for the fruit that I brought, for a couple of goodies, I basically am driving up towards the basin, and I'm going to go up Basin Road just to enjoy the view. I will not see this location again, most likely until Wednesday. So it's 76 degrees up here, so a little bit cooler. It's pleasant. I can hear the Mexican jays. I don't know if you can hear them right now, but I'm basically going to have a quick snack, and then we'll see what happens from there. So it's 5:20 now. It's still October 20th. And this is going to be my home for the next 5 nights. This is the Pine Canyon site number 1. And I read some reviews online that talked about paper wasps being here. And I didn't experience that at the Pine Canyon 2 site that I was at the last time. But there are definitely some paper wasps here. So I'm looking forward to whenever I get the chance to set up my tent. And that way I can have 2 different zones to go into where I don't have to be concerned about any kind of a surprise. Like if I put my arm down and there happens to be something that can sting me. I don't know if you saw that. They're creeping me out. because there's quite a few of them. And so I'm going to get into my vehicle, and I just wanted to show you what I was working with. Thought I'd ride for Jesus, or maybe just for God. I wonder if they all see us, or if they all forgot. My dog looks up from his napping. I see the love in his eyes, while they play songs for the clapping. I write these songs for you guys. I wonder if he could hear us, if we said less than before, and if we fell into silence, would he come knock on the door? My dog look. So it's 7:27 p.m. right now. The temperature shift has occurred. You can feel the cool breeze going, and this is my setup. I think it's a pretty nice setup, if I might say so myself. It's an engineering feat. I remember when I first went camping with some of my best friends, and I was in the Boy Scouts, and we had things like this cot that I have here, but the cot that I had way back when was extremely heavy, difficult to set up. And this cot, check it out. It's basically like a stretched tarp with risers that are extremely lightweight and quick and easy to assemble. So I'm also in a chair that is quite similar in terms of how it gets assembled and what material it's made out of and all that. And it's pretty ingenious. It's innovative. And these things have lasted me so many seasons, and they still function more or less like new. It's still a little bit warm out here, but since the temperature shift occurred, I can tell that now that everything is more or less set up, for the next few days, I'm absolutely going to be enjoying the solitude of this site. Listen to it for yourself.